What up? What up? What up?
Yo, what's going on, killer?
Ain't not much, play. How you feeling?
Man, feeling good, feeling great.
All right, man. That's all it's about right there.
Man, how
Gotta
you
go.
feeling, dog? Hey, Mister. Hey, I'm gonna call you goddamn travel. Hey, you be on the go, man.
Hey, be hopping on planes and getting right back to the crib quick as possible, man. Hey, dip in, dip out. That's all I got. But nah, man. So, as y'all know, this is I feel like, man, I'm gonna start calling you. What is it? I'm gonna start calling you Halliburton. Because we be getting these buzzer beaters, bro. We be last minute, but we be getting these episodes in. But man, I think today we'll be remiss if we didn't speak about the amazing show that went on this weekend, which was the Florida Pro, sponsored by, I mean, not sponsored, but promoted by Daryl. If you guys have not seen the pre-show we had in the promoter series, I would definitely go check that out. Because then you get the before of what Daryl said, and then most likely in this episode you will hear if he delivered on all the things he spoke on. So Jamal, I'm gonna let you, of course, lead this episode. I guess I could just answer whatever questions there is, or answer kind of the experience of being there. But yeah, man, I'm gonna let you take over.
No, absolutely, man. Shout out to Daryl once again for having a great show. The competitors just keep coming back, and his motto is athletes first. So that's my first question right there. Did he indeed deliver when he say athletes first?
I 100% think he delivered. That's the one thing. I've been there almost from every angle except the athlete perspective. The only part that I haven't been was the athlete. So he definitely delivered on the giving the athletes what they wanted. I've been to this show 3 to 4 years. I think so far, and I can honestly say I've been there from a coaching standpoint. I've been there strictly from a spectator standpoint. I haven't been there from an athlete perspective, but when I can say the goodie bags that he gave the athletes, the 2 pro shirts, the swag bags, the vendors or amount of vendors he had for everybody to dabble with and go support, like, I think it's the closest thing to an expo that I have seen at an actual show.
Absolutely. So, of course, I don't know if many people know, but you were there in a different space this year. How was that experience?
I think it was good. I think from the, of course, the space I was in, I was judging this weekend. I asked Daryl if I could judge his show because I wanted to see it in a completely different light than coaching, then spectating, but then sit behind the table and actually see, kind of how the judging goes in the USBF. So I think the great thing that we had before each show was there was a giant athletes meeting. He met with all the athletes, amateur, pros on their respective days. And then we had a judges meeting right before the show. So it's like, hey, this is the standard. Make sure we're judging to this criteria. Make sure we're doing this. It's always good to have that fresh refresher to put everybody on the same page before we see people. Like, I don't want to hear criteria while I'm judging somebody. I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, so then that way we get the best results at the end of the show.
All right. Well, you're going to lead me into my next question. This is getting good. So how does the criteria from each category differ from a different organization?
So I think the criteria was similar, but I know they did say conditioning was a standard in all categories. I actually liked it that way because, like we said, that's what was put in the forefront, right? So I think sometimes when they say bikini softer look or this division a softer look, it leaves too much room for subjectivity because what you consider soft might be something that I consider being too hard for the category, right? So when they say, hey, look for conditioning, make sure everybody's conditioned. We want our winners to be conditioned. That's super important, right? So then that's when you go to, hey, what's the shape of these people and are they in good shape, right? So are they symmetrical? Are they balanced? So they still look for the same things, but we did emphasize on the conditioning.
Okay. Well, my last question, just around the judging aspect, and then we're going to get into, some of the highlights and some of these athletes. So for the past few years, it's no secret, everybody think the judging panel down there is biased. They
Mhm.
think Florida judging panel, so we're going to pick Florida athletes to win this show. You were there front and center. Is there any bias on that judging panel?
I didn't see any bias, or from the winnings, I haven't seen any of the bias, because if you look at it, once we get into the winners, you'll see, like, even if there is bias, as everybody say, because they say there is going to be bias, there's subjectivity in every, since it's so political, somebody's going to be biased, or there may be bias, right? But the overall wins, right? So if someone is being super biased to a particular physique, it gets ruled out. So we hope that, right? Unless it's the majority, right? So I think in all the categories that I have seen this weekend, I can say we got it right. Like, all the winners, I think we're supposed to win. I think even the top 5, I think we didn't miss one order out of all of them. Like, we were, like, maybe some of mine flipped or flopped, but that's what judging is, right? It's 7 different mons coming together to make one firm decision on who's the top 5. So I think for the most part, we got it right.
All right, man. Well, let's roll into some of these athlete spotlights and see what we got. Let's see who some of these winners is from the big Arnold. The Arnold, man.
The Arnold of the natural world. All right. So I'm not good with names, so I would definitely probably clip some of these up and tag these guys later. So to make sure I give them the proper respect that they deserve. So I have 3 major highlights from the amateur show. This guy came in, he was a men's physique guy, of course. I'm going to highlight men's physique. He did a really good job. He came in nice and peeled, and he ended up winning the show. He won Mr. Florida, which also came with the belt. Super great guy. Met him backstage. Like I said, I'm horrible with names, so I will make sure to go back and tag him whenever I get that. I also have another highlight of the Masters Bikini girl who won and went. No, this isn't a Masters Bikini. Sorry, guys. Scrolling through my pictures. That's not it either. Well, when I get to her, I'll speak on her. How about that? So the next picture is the women's physique winner for the pro, which came with a crown. She looked absolutely amazing. She came in really conditioned, had a great shape. Like I said, once I get her name as well, I would definitely make sure to broadcast that. This next person, though, I got to tell you, when he say athletes first, I can honestly say the Florida pro owes this next woman nothing, okay? They owe her nothing. So let's just say this young lady, she came to the show. So quick story. She came to the show, and she won. This is actually the amateur show right here, right? She won the amateur show. She went on to compete as a pro the next day. She also won Mrs. Florida, which came with a belt. So then she went on the next day and won the pro bikini class. And then she won best pro in the show. So she left with like 2 belts, 4 medals, like a crown, 3 book bags, whatever. Like, literally, she had to carry everything to her car, probably with 3 or 4 people. So she did absolutely amazing. She looked great. So this is the young lady that won Masters Bikini from the amateur level as well. Went on to compete as a pro the next day as well. And I think she placed in the top 5, and then she placed in the top 3 for the Masters Bikini class. So 2 pros who went pro the previous day went on and won checks. I actually like that method because there's a couple pros who competed the next day who saw what the pros, like the difference between pros, and then some of the girls were actually pro ready. So that's the one thing I kind of like about the Florida pro.
Everybody likes that method when they win, but when you get smacked, everybody hates the method. So.
No, I mean, I still like that method for that exact reason, because a lot of people talk as if they're pros and ready for the pros, but it also shows them that they're not. I like it from an outside perspective.
The only issue I have with that, and I'm not pinpointing his show, the only issue I have with that, piss test. So just what if that amateur gets their pro card, right? Then they go compete the next day and they win, and then the piss come back hot.
That's fair.
That's only like I said, that's the only thing I see wrong with that. But hey, each his own. Hey, she, like you said, she cleared house or whatnot, so yeah, good for her.
That's fair. I ain't got nothing to say about that, but she looked amazing. All right, so moving forward to our, this is the guy that everybody they put your names against. Dr. J. Wright came back in one classic after taking a year off because of injury. I can honestly say this picture really does him no justice on what he looked like. He came in much improved. I think even the year that me and you went, we said he improved that year. So this year he improved on that. He looked amazing. And he really just kind of stood out once he stepped on stage. So then moving to Nathan Parker, who we've seen a few times in the OCB, and he ended up winning the Open Men's Physique championship right there. I have a quick story about Nathan. I know Nathan for a while. He did a few OCB shows before this, led up into this show. And I think he's been knocking on the door. I think he got a second place finish down at Jackie and Magnum show. Then he didn't make it to the overall and no gear for him to turn it around and go place 3 weeks later and win a show. That's absolutely amazing. So then we have the wellness winner here. She came and cleaned house. I think the wellness class was about 5 or 6, and she cleaned house there. Moving to the Masters Men's Physique, as you see, Mr. Core Killer awarded him because he was the 3-time Florida Pro champion, Phil Thomas, who was also a previous Mr. America. He came and took the first place in the Masters Men's Physique. This was the bikini class, pro bikini class. And as you see from the picture, the girl who won the amateur actually won the show. And then also the girl who turned pro the previous day as well, she placed 5th. And I think the one cool thing about this was this show was there was one more award that was presented at the end of the night. I think you knew about it. We all knew about it. It was the Michael Chidozie Award, which went to the best poser or best presenter. And, of course, the judges voted on this. And the one thing that I know I spoke to another judge about, because, of course, it's judged, but then it's also like opinion-based, right? The one thing about me was when I sent down my number, I made sure to make sure that the person that got the award that I voted for actually put together a routine. I wasn't picking the most entertaining. I was picking the best poser because not only was Michael Chidozie a good poser, he was also entertaining. He was a combination of the two, but he really emphasized on his posing, as we all knew. So there was 2 guys that really stood out to me. I didn't necessarily I had like a couple of numbers on my paper, but Alex, I think his name is like Alexander the Grut or something like that on the Instagram, had a really great posing routine. Where he's hitting poses the whole time, real dramatic music, something of the remnants of actually practicing and putting the hours in to come and get this award. And the dope thing on top of that was shout out to Shift EQ, which is another podcast. If you guys don't follow that podcast, go give them a follow. They also donated, or not donated, but they awarded.
Hold on, dog. You giving free promotion. Who shouting us out on their podcast? Well, what the hell you got going on? Nah, let me stop.
But they also gave $1,000 award to the person who won that award as well. So I thought that was dope. Maybe we start giving out $1,000, people will shout us out, bro.
I'm good. I like my money.
But yeah, so that was like my rundown of the athletes. Like I said, I'll definitely be dropping some videos with these people on the page and definitely tagging them so you guys can see a better view of what I saw from the table.
Absolutely. And I know one thing that was a big emphasis on this show, and it shows in the pictures because the athletes are posting their pictures now, is the lighting. The lighting looked incredible on stage. I know that's one thing he wanted to fix this year, and it looked like he got the job done.
Yeah, I can honestly say that's another thing. Like, usually at some shows, there's a dark spot on the stage, either on the left or on the right. It's never like the center stage. But he found a way, and I mean, we sat there. He found a way to make sure that the whole stage was lit from left to right. And it really didn't fade from the middle. So I know that was the ongoing thing for like the past maybe 2-3 years that everybody kind of had a comment about. Even I asked him about it. And I can honestly say, like, he over-delivered on that. I think that was his main mission. And then even with him light checking before, even with Greg, light checking with who did the photography, light checking before to make sure that everyone could be seen on that stage, which I thought was awesome.
Nah, that's super dope, man. Like I said, shout out to Daryl and Holly for putting on another amazing show. Believe it or not, I think they made other promoters step up their game here in the natural bodybuilding world when it comes to their production and how they treat the athletes. So shout out to them once again. And hey, I can't wait to see what they got in store for 2026, man, for sure.
Hey, I can't wait for 2026. I'm not saying I'm doing it. I'm not saying, but it's one of those shows that I feel like you got to experience once, right? Like I experienced it enough off stage. This is not a verbal commitment. So Daryl, do not be blowing up my inbox because this isn't a verbal commit.
That's
All
great.
I'm saying is it's one of those shows that when you do it, you pay the money, you get down there. It's in a really good spot in Florida, but it's one of those shows where I'm pretty sure like even the people who didn't come out with the placements they want, they didn't leave empty-handed. They all left with something. So I think it's one of those shows like even if you don't win, you still appreciate the time and the effort that he put into giving you something for coming down there.
And one more thing, if y'all seen little Evie, their little French bulldog, and y'all think she look cute and y'all want one, they got that dog for me. Hit me up. I'm the Frenchie dealer. All right.
Oh, you got more? You got more?
I'm about to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There. But who is this podcast sponsored by today, brother?
Man, you already know it's sponsored by the Chula. Chula. If you're not wearing Chula wear, then what the fuck you wearing? That's why you ain't winning. So if you got on Manifest, Amazon, whatever else, and you getting your butt smacked, you gotta put on them Chulas, man. Chula free champions.
And with that, you guys can use the code when you go to the website. You can use code eShell10 or Carolina Muscle. But until next time, peace.
Peace.